With the pending arrival of the new BMW M2 on the horizon, today we're going to do a review of the BMW M2 competition. Welcome to the interior of this BMW M2 competition. Start off with the M bucket seats, really make you feel like you're in a performance bred car. Then you've got the lashings of Alcantara with the contrast stitching, the carbon in the door handles and the dash. As you can see, this one comes with an Alcantara steering wheel. Everything oozes performance in here. You've also got some lovely mod cons like the infotainment system, the black panel display, HK sound, electric memory seats, and if you've forgotten you're in an M2 competition, just look down on the door sills. As you can see, the BMW M2 is an aggressive looking car. This one has been made to look more aggressive with the mods that the previous owner has done, but underneath all that, as a standard competition, you get the Y-spoke alloys, 19-inch. You get the more aggressive rear diffusers on these, and the front end, it just looks in your rear view mirror like a little bull coming to attack you. Next, we're going to take this BMW M2 competition for a drive. BMW M2 competition comes with the S55 engine, which is taken from the M3 and M4s of this generation. It is slightly detuned, so this one is pumping out standard approximately 410 brake horsepower with 406 Newton meters of torque. Plenty of power in a small pocket rocket like this, to be fair. Also, being a competition and being the same engine as the M3, M4, it is twin turbocharged. The suspension setup on this competition, it is stiffer than the OG M2s, and the rear axles have also been recalibrated to make it a more performance handling, more track-based feel. The new M2 fast approaching our shores, the current BMW M2 competition is one to consider. So, BMW M2 competition. There you have it, in my opinion, one of the best Not sure why this dude here has turned up in his OG M2, because the M2 competition is the one to have in my books. Let's see what he's got to say for himself. Dill?
Couldn't afford an M4 comp.
Couldn't afford an M2 comp.
That's the better car all day long, and I'm about to show you why. Let's head out. Why on earth would you have an M2 competition over the OG M2? The big elephant in the room is obviously the S55. However, that raw, inaugural, sonorous sound that you get from the N55 doesn't even compare. Yeah, so there's some nice sort of changes that you get obviously in the M2 competition, a bit more of a facelifted, updated dash, the exterior, but when it comes down to the nitty gritty, is it a better car? I don't think so. the main justification is, are you there willing to pay the price point difference that is there currently now? They've dropped and the OG M2s look that much more desirable. The M2 comp's slightly dropping as well. But you can just make the OG M2 a better car by saving the money that you'd put into putting in an M2 competition, and just make this a better car on modifications or upgrades. Obviously the key thing, engine difference, S55. Yep, people make it out that it's a bespoke M engine, but the 1M sported the N54, and I don't think anyone out there is going to tell you that that's not a proper M car. So the OG M2, it makes me speechless. I had one, I'm biased, so I'm going to tell you that this is the car to go for, but we're here to really explain what are the key differences and why wouldn't you. So the N55 is a 3-litre turbocharged inline-six engine, producing factory 365 brake horsepower with about 340 foot-pounds of torque. More than enough power for a car with such a short wheelbase, and is relatively light. You get an extra 40 brake horsepower obviously in the S55, and yeah, you notice a little bit more possibly in that when actually driving it, but is this never not enough, the 365? There's always the option there to go tune or add more power by obviously a remap, and there's possibly a few things to talk about when looking out to purchase one essentially. One of them being possibly upgrading one or two of the internals. There was never really any common faults with the N55, as previous people know with the 335s, etc. But when it came to the M2s, they just stuck plastic parts on from a boggy 116i. So stock generally not much to worry about. If you are looking to increase power, ideally you probably want to update the charge pipes, possibly an intercooler. Aside from that, really, occasionally an odd few had an issue with the diff seal. So it's one possible thing to check out for if you are looking to purchase one second hand. Ideally, if the diff seals have been replaced, you know you're pretty much good to go. Aside from that, the engine is pretty much bulletproof, and tell you what, as I mentioned, nothing beats the sound. You don't get that in a stock M2 comp. So, thank you for watching the overview of the OG M2 and the M2 competition, which I'm sure you'll agree are heavyweights in their car divisions. As we hope each M2 gets better than the last, it promisingly leads us up to the arrival and the launch of the new M2, which you'll be seeing later this year, and I'm sure you'll be seeing a few in DNA. This video was to highlight that you should not be writing off what are going to be the future icons of the OG and the M2 competition, and we'll see what the new one has to offer. So thanks for watching, guys. We hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe and comment below on what you'd like to see next on our channel.